You can also use that pre-use inspection checklist that I handed out, and also in the operator's manual there will be details of what to do for your pre-use inspection. So, always start at this wheel and tire, and just take a look at the tire, make sure the tread's all in good shape. Go through and check each one of the lug nuts. These tires don't get serviced that often, so these lug nuts tend to loosen up. This is a pneumatic tire, so you guys know which class forklift we're operating? Class 5. Yeah, this is a pneumatic tire. If this had a cushion tire, it'd be a class 4. Okay, so that tire's in good shape. As I'm looking at it, I'll look at the tilt cylinders here, make sure there isn't any leaks in there at all, and then just get a good overall look at the mast. I'm just looking for any obvious signs of damage. We're not out here to be mechanics, we're just out here to make sure the machine's in safe operating condition. So as I look in the mast, looking at the lift chains, looking at all the hydraulics, making sure there isn't any leaks in here at all. You'd just be seeing oil running out of it.
Got it. Yeah.
Then when it comes to here's your backrest, give it a good shake, make sure it's on tight, and then I'm going to look at the forks. So when I inspect the forks, take your feet and run it down the forks, and your feet will pick up any imperfections or any cracks. Also, take a look at the heel of the forks, make sure there isn't any cracks in there as well. Remember, this is the most stressed out point of the forklift. That all looks good in there too. And then take a look at the front of the mast. These are your lift chains. There's nothing broken. There's your main lift cylinder. There's no oil leaking out of it. Here's your side shift lines. No oil's leaking out of that. That's really good. I don't see any damages or any imperfections in the fork either. Okay, Greg? Yeah. Yeah, and you lift out, and then you can spread the forks. And before we use it, I'm going to spread them open wider so we can pick the valves a little bit better. Yeah. And you can look inside the mast and make sure it's pretty well lubricated. A lot of times these get so much wear and worn. This pit stand is a little bit more loose just because you're starting to see shiny surfaces on the steel. Okay, then come over to this side. Look at the mast. Everything looks good. No hydraulic leaks. The tilt cylinder looks really good. Check the wheels and tires on this side. All the lug nuts look good. Everything's in good shape so far. This is your overhead guard, and
should be labeled right there.
Yeah.
Right there?
Should have an impact rating. I do not see it on here at all. It's not there. No.
Impact
rating. Isn't it right there?
Does it say anything about foot pounds? I see tip over warning. Usually it's a pretty good sized decal with some pretty good specifications. Interesting. For the backup alarm, I've ran into a few electric forklifts that are like this as well. You don't see the impact rating on the overhead guard. I would imagine it specifies it inside the operator's manual, but a lot of times they'll have that rating right in here on the overhead guard.
So if the overhead...
No, that's just the... Yeah. Generally, it's right on the overhead guard. Yeah, there's the data plate. I've ran into a few electric forklifts that don't have it on there either.
If the overhead guard takes a load, is it considered out of commission? Do you have to replace it if it's dented or bent or anything like that? Sort of like if fall protection, you use fall protection and you put a load on it, you have to replace it.
Yeah, once this thing is dented at all, it's got to be replaced.
Got it.
Yeah, because the manufacturer won't even warranty it at that point.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, back over here, take a look at this wheel and tire the same way. Just look at the tread. And you know, when we're looking at the tread, we're looking for big misty chunks out of it or any problems at all. And since this is pneumatic, the they're not flat as well. So I'm going to look at all the lug nuts. They're all in good shape. So then I come back here. Here's your propane tank. There's the gauge for your propane tank, and how you read it is dependent on how the position of the propane tank is. It's in a horizontal position, so we read this one, so we can tell that it's saying that it's almost full. But with the propane tank, give it a good shake. Make sure it's fastened on real well. Make sure it isn't loose at all. Here's your back counterweight. Nothing's missing, nothing's seriously damaged, it all looks good.
Again, what about the propane? It just says okay.
Yeah, just give it a good shake. Yeah, and that's your fuel reading in there. And then make sure it's also on. Sometimes you get, this one is on. You have jokers in the workplace who come up and they'll talk to you and they'll be secretly shutting off the propane tank while they're,
Make sure it's on.
Yeah. Okay.
On, open all the way to the left.
Yeah, open all the way counterclockwise.
Lefty loosey, righty tighty.
Yeah. And so there, we found the operator's manual. It's with the machine. Here we're at this wheel and tire now. All the levels tight. Everything looks good. And this is a dual fuel machine. So this runs on propane or gasoline, and I believe there's a switch inside this one. Nope, actually the switch is right here. Between if you want to run it on gas or propane. Right now they have it in the gas mode.
Okay.
Yeah.
And all the way to the propane?
Yeah, on this one, a lot of times that switch will be inside the engine compartment too. Okay, so looking at the overhead guard still, everything looks good. Oh, here it is. Here's the decal of the foot-pounds. It says 16,000 foot-pounds. This one conforms to the ANSI standard of B56-1.
So 1,000 pounds can be dropped from 16 feet.
Correct, and you will be safe inside. Which 1,000 pounds is not a lot considering you're picking 5,000-pound loads.
8,000 feet?
Huh?
Or 8 feet, so 2,000 pounds.
Exactly. Yep, same principle. Okay, here's the fire extinguisher as well. It's charged, but it doesn't have its inspection tag on it like it's supposed to. Alright, so looking under the hood, when you look under the hood, you want to inspect it just like you would a car before you go on a long trip. Look at the batteries. That's in good shape. We don't see any corrosion. Take a look at the fan belt. Make sure it's in good shape. It's on good and tight. Check the oil. Oil is good and full and very clean, which isn't always the case with a lot of rental company forklifts. And then I'm going to go over to this side and check the air filter. That's fairly clean, a little dirty, but fairly clean. And right here is your hydraulic oil. I don't know if this got a dipstick on it or not. Get the dipstick down inside. And it has plenty of hydraulic oil too. And then look for any obvious signs of damage as well. Everything looks good, a little dirty, but that's typical. There's your engine coolant. It's good and full. All right, so the engine looks good. So we're going to close this. Maybe. Oh, it's right here on this one. But you guys are going to learn on this forklift. Then the forklift you operate will be something completely different. So you might get into the operator's manual and look at it. So from here I'm going to do a functions check of the machine. So I'm going to get in the machine. The best point whenever you're getting in and out of the machine is use a 3